Okay, so first, living and non-living things. Let me just ask you, okay, can you give me some examples, 2 examples of living things?
Cat,
Sorry?
cat,
Cat. Okay, good. Something else, something that's not an animal.
human,
Human is also an animal. How about something else? Human, yes, you're right. Another type of living thing that's not an animal.
plant.
Plant, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good. So how about non-living things? Can you give me 2 examples?
Yeah.
Can you give me 2 examples of non-living things?
Toy car,
Good. One more?
and a bicycle.
Okay, good. Okay, so I see that you roughly know what are living and non-living things. That's not too difficult. Okay, but just want you to think about these things on the screen. Okay, do you think a chicken wing that you ate for lunch, okay, is it a living thing? How about a cloud in the sky? Because sometimes when you look at clouds, right, you notice that they can move in the sky. Correct or not? How about bacteria in our body that makes us sick? So when you fall sick, you have bacteria in our body. Do you think that's a living or non-living thing? Okay, so you think about that. We will go through that later. All right. Okay, so how do I know if something is a living thing? If something is a living thing, it should have all the characteristics of a living thing. Now, what is characteristics? Have you heard this word before?
Yeah.
Okay, characteristics is something that I can use to describe an object. For example, a ball is round, correct? A ball is bouncy. Those are characteristics of the ball, right? Properties or features. So when I look at this cube here, okay? Can you name me a characteristic of the cube?
Yeah.
What is a characteristic of the cube?
The characteristics of the cube is
Name me one. What is a property or feature or characteristic of the cube? Look at all the sides of the cube. What can you say about all the sides of the cube?
therefore
They are what?
there are 7 sizes of the cube.
Huh? There are how many sides?
7.
Are you sure there are 7? Let's count, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, huh? So there are 6 sides of the cube. Good. Look at the lines of the cube. Are they equal or are they not equal?
Some are equal, but some are not equal.
Are you sure? A cube is made up of squares, right?
Yeah.
Are all sides of the square equal?
Yeah.
So are all the sides of the cube equal?
Yeah.
All the sides of the cube are equal. So these are characteristics of the cube. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Properties or features of the cube. Okay? Now, characteristics of living things. We have a few. In school, what has teacher taught you? How do I know if something is a living thing?
It reproduces.
Okay, that is one of them. What else do you know? They must be able to reproduce. What else?
And it need food, water, and air.
Very good. They need air, food, and water to survive. What else?
They can grow.
Very good. Can grow. Very good. Anything else you can remember, Saktivi? We still have quite a few.
I don't. What is
Cannot
it?
remember. So you only can remember 3. Is it? Okay, by the end of this lesson, I want you to remember all the characteristics. So before class ends, I'm going to test you, okay? Okay, so let's go through. The first one you have. Living things need air, food, and water to survive. You are right. Now, which one do you think is the most important? Which one is the most important?
Food and water.
No, unfortunately, you are not correct. Air is the most important. Okay? If you hold your breath, you only can hold your breath for 3 minutes maximum, right? But without water, you can last for 3 days. Then you will die. But without food, you can last for 3 weeks. So air is the most important. Can you remember that? Air, food, air, water, then food in that order. Okay? The next one, living things can grow. As you mentioned, the seed became a flower, the puppy became an adult dog. That's living things growing. Okay? Third one, living things can reproduce, which is also what you said. So if you have a dog, okay, the dog can give birth to baby puppies. That's living things reproducing. For plants, flowering plants, okay, they produce seeds. That is also plants reproducing. All right. Now, those are the 3 examples you remembered, right? Let's look at the 4th one. Living things can move by themselves. Okay, so look at the bird, it is flying, right? Look at the person, he's jogging. So that's living things moving. Now the plant, it grows, it will face the sunlight. So if I put my plant in a black box, okay, imagine this is a black box. And I cut a hole here. Eventually, my flowers will grow in the direction of the hole. Correct? Saktivi, do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So eventually, my flowers will grow in the direction of the hole. That is living things moving. So can you remember that? Now,
Yeah.
only animals can move from one place to another place. Can plants move from one place to another place?
No.
But they can move, because for example, they can move in the direction of the sun. So that's considered moving. Okay, next one. Living things respond to changes around them. So as you can see, this man is touching the stove. It is very hot and suddenly he reacts. He lifts up his hands and says, ouch. Correct? Do you see that?
Yeah.
In this case, the plant is also growing in the direction of the sun. So that is responding to changes around them. Okay, Saktivi, understand? Please remember this as well. Okay, 6, living things will die eventually. So all living things will not live forever and ever. They will all die. Okay, so these are the other 3 that I want you to memorize. Okay, now, can I now ask you, since you know the 6 characteristics of living things, do you think the chicken wing you eat, is it a living thing or not a living thing?
Not a living thing.
But it used to come from a chicken, correct?
Yeah.
So it is once alive. Okay, it is not living, but it is once alive. Later, I will discuss some non-living things with you and we will look at how to group these items. So for the chicken wing, it was once alive, but now it is not living. How about the cloud in the sky?
It's a long living thing.
Non-living or living?
I think it's a living thing.
The cloud is living. Does it reproduce? No, right? It doesn't die also, right?
Yeah.
So although you see it move, right? If you recall, a living thing needs to have all the characteristics of a living thing, all 6 characteristics. So even if it has one only, it is not considered a living thing. Do you understand, Saktivi? Okay, so a cloud is not. Now, how about bacteria in our body that makes us sick? Is that a living thing?
Not a living thing.
Okay, so when you have bacteria in our body, you go to see the doctor, correct? The doctor have you eaten antibiotics before?
Yeah.
The antibiotics is to what? Kill the bacteria, correct? So
Yeah.
in order to kill the bacteria needs to be to kill something. In order to kill something, the something needs to be what?
Living thing.
Yes. Okay, so please remember bacteria is actually a living thing. All right, although it's very, very small, okay, it needs air, food, and water to survive. It can grow, it can reproduce, it can multiply itself, you become more sick. Okay, it can move in your body. It also responds to changes and it will die. So please remember the bacteria is a living thing. Okay, Ken? All right, so now, let's do a recap. Okay, this is kind of like a revision. Okay, so living things have the 6 properties of a living thing. So how do I know something is not a living thing? What are the 6 properties of non-living things?
6 properties. It does not reproduce.
Good. What else?
And it does not die.
Very good.
And it can move by places.
Can or cannot? Non-living thing can move or cannot move?
Cannot move.
Cannot move by itself, correct? If you think of the toy car, if you don't move the toy car, can it move? Yeah, you have to move it. So cannot move by itself. Okay, what else?
And
What are the uh-huh.
it can breathe and donate
Can what?
Water and food.
Does not need what?
Water and food.
Only water and food. What's the first most important thing?
And the air.
Does not need air, water, and food. Good. What are the other 2 characteristics?
It can grow.
Can or cannot? Non-living things.
Cannot grow.
Okay, good. That's the last one. Give you a clue. If somebody smacks you, you will scream out in pain. So what is that? Responding to?
Responding to changes.
So can a non-living thing respond to change?
No.
So cannot respond to change. Okay? So please remember the last one, yeah? You're just a bit confused with regards to the last one, responding to change. All right, so please remember, as long as something does not have one characteristic of a living thing, it is considered a non-living thing. Okay, Ken? So as long as something has one of these characteristics, it is a what?
It cannot respond to changes.
No. Listen to my question. As long as something has one of these characteristics, it is considered a
A long name thing.
good. Okay?